How's it going? Hmm. I do want to use. Hello?
Hi, Joseph. Good
Hey,
afternoon.
how's it going?
Doing yourself?
Pretty good, thanks. Keeping busy.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, busy is always good, but it's sometimes a bit overwhelming, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
you're I'm not the only one
Yeah,
who gets overwhelmed sometimes.
so don't worry, don't feel bad. I know, I feel you.
Yeah.
How was your trip? You were in Mexico, right?
Yes, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. It was beautiful. I just
Oh,
wish we could have
wonderful.
stayed longer. It was a short trip.
I know. It's always traveling is always a bit like, oh, you want more times, right? But you went to Mexico City, and did you travel elsewhere or just stayed in Mexico City?
No, we just flew straight there. We flew into
Okay,
the new airport. It was really nice.
I see.
And
Okay,
and then plus we stayed in Reforma, and then we went over to Polanco for some time with some friends.
nice.
And then we went to the GNP stadium, whatever, to watch
Okay.
concert that we went to see. And my
Oh,
wife
great.
wanted to go see.
Oh, wonderful, nice. That's great. Big city, right? Really, it's crazy how big it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it's like we need more time. So we'll go back. We were hoping maybe this December or something.
Excellent, great, great, good to hear.
Yeah.
Glad you had, yeah, I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a good time. But it was a lot of travel for me. It was two trips in September, and so I got back and had to catch up on a lot of things. So
Oh, I see.
I want to pull this project forward as fast as we can, so that we can start using it.
Yeah.
But on the last call, there was a lot of I had a lot of questions, and I still feel like there's going to be a lot of questions. I think we just need to at some point um, stop and say, okay, this is pretty much going to work, and then we can always iterate on it later.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, sorry, last call I had to leave a little bit quick, so I apologize for that. I
Yeah,
know that.
that was before my trip, and I know you had to go for a meeting, and I got to show you the front end, what I think Kohler would use as the
The
form.
front end, right?
Yeah, but I didn't get to show you a little bit of the back end, and that's what I was hoping we could go over today.
Okay, definitely, I'm all ears.
Okay. Do you have are you at your PC, or can I share my
Uh,
screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind schedule. I'm not in my computer right now, but I'm driving to the office, so hopefully I can be there in
Well,
one day.
I don't want to, I don't want you to be watching my screen if you're driving.
No, 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 no. Anna's driving, so I'm
Ah,
all good.
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, good then. Let me share it. And real quick, I'm gonna go back to what we saw last time. Oops.
Okay, I'm seeing your screen.
Okay. All right. So what we went over last time was that form. So I mean, this
Yeah.
is kind of something that Kohler would see. They would get to see all their quotes and the status, right? If they're
Okay.
ready, or and they can click on there and get their download the quote or whatever they have to do. But
Okay. Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, it's already broken out into type of shipment, FCL, origin, destination. Okay.
yes, yes, and those are the things I didn't change anything from the form that I showed you last time,
Okay.
but all the things you just mentioned, we're gonna work on that and put those in. The origin
Wonderful.
destination. I know Anna said it would be good to have like the desired arrival date so that you
Yes.
know how fast the shipment needs to happen. And then of course the weights and the volumes.
Okay.
And
Yes.
yeah, so that's going to
Yeah.
be the next thing I work on is making sure we get those different front end pieces in place.
Okay.
So then on the back end, if you get all these details, essentially then you just need to see, okay, it's going from here to here. It's a dedicated thing, so we already have all the rates and we can put them in. Or we need to come up with a quote, because we don't have all the rates. Um, Let me just jump in here so we can talk about it with something to look at.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
about to send. I'm actually working on updating the rate sheet, the one that we have,
Hmm.
because we added more sections to it. And so, Curler's currently working on like, well, it's based on departments, and originally the request was issued by the international team, which is a full container load and LCL. But we also have another division called KDMX, which is Color Trade in Mexico, and it's like a subsidiary um, business unit from Kohler, and they're also before they weren't asking for rates, but now we're also adding those rates to the rate sheet. The good side is that they only handle two lanes, main lanes, which is Asia for to El Paso via Long Beach, and then Asia to Laredo via also Long Beach to Laredo. So it shouldn't be um, too much. Well, there are not too many lanes as it is with the full container load that we have for the other plants, Bajío, Sanimex, and Cooler.
Okay. If you could send me that whenever you have it updated and I can take a look at it.
Okay, we'll do.
Now, we can't really put all the rate sheet data in yet because it is kind of complicated. So, for now, what I wanted to show you was if you had, I mean, if we do have the rates for a certain, origin and destination or, a dedicated lane, then they should pre-populate. But
Okay,
if not, then you would manually have to type in each of the fees. So you can see right here, right? Like if we had a price breakdown for a quote, it would usually always have to contain these types of fees, right? Like these are going to be
correct.
the standard fees for, and this might not be all of them, but these are some of the ones that I pulled out of the sheet. So like the booking agent fee, the drayage, the customs, the export documentation, and then the release fee. I also had some like the drayage at the destination is not on here, but it would be here.
Okay, no, it's great. We have
So
the
then,
ocean. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and these are all ocean things. So that's the thing. This is kind of all I did everything focused on FCL like ocean just
That's great.
because to keep it simple, but then of course you can share the details with the other ones.
Yeah, we can
But-
work on base. We can grab that as a base and then keep building on it.
Right. So yeah, let me from the top to bottom, like the top would be here's what they gave us, right? This is the origin, this is the destination. This is not exactly how it would look, but this is just an idea, right? This is just a
Okay,
concept. So
good.
of course, so yeah, where's the pickup, where's the destination, the dates of the cargo ready date, right? The CRD, and then
Mm-hmm.
the desired arrival date. And then if it's a dedicated lane, you'll already know the Incoterm, so it would be here. And then these fees down here would be here based on the Incoterm because they changed, right? Based on that.
Yeah,
So
they do change.
like maybe some of the ones that don't apply would just be grayed out and you can't add them because it doesn't match the Incoterm. So
Exactly. Yes, sir.
yeah, so the Incoterms would be kind of like up here. Like you if you want a different like a template, they're kind of like templates,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So then we would have, okay, the FOB template, the FCA template, whatever all the templates are, and then you can have one that just says custom. That way you can just add and delete fees as needed, right?
Correct.
Something like that.
Right.
So then yeah, you just put in the details. Now there could be like two containers, right? So then you might need to put two quantity two. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. It's actually exactly how it's based out of the invoice, so it's perfect. Yes.
Okay. So then like these items that say per 20. And if there was two containers, then each of those would be quantity two, I guess. And so then all the
Okay.
amounts would update and then the final amount updates. And what else do we have?
Now, quick question, Joseph.
Yeah.
In case I know that this example is showing a 20-foot container, are we on the top and on like the main menu be able to select, say, a 40-foot container or change it? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. There it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And that's not on here. Like any options that you need to pick, like or change, they would be somewhere in here. But this was also something I thought was interesting. So like based on what they input, these are the items up
Mm-hmm.
here. Then it would automatically calculate the total weight and the total volume, which I know you base your quotes off of those numbers.
Correct.
And so then this right here on the right is a calculated estimate of what's required, right? So in this case, they only put in this much, so that equates to one FCL container.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just for you to see so that you can then right below this, then you can start building your quote. Say, okay, this looks right. I'm gonna do an FCL quote. And the Incoterm was this. If it's there automatically based on the rate sheet, great. If not, you just add them in yourself. And
Okay.
then at the bottom, the transit time. So those are also on the rate sheet. I saw them, but you can adjust them as needed. Each of the three, right? Door to POL, CY to CY, and then POD to door. And then the total right here. So these are all things that would be on the quote that you send them, right? All the line
Okay.
items, the
Right.
transit time. You sent me one of those quotes that you from Opus, I think. So I
Yeah.
was kind of basing off of that.
Okay. Perfect.
So yeah, this is kind of a rough idea of what you would see on your side when you're building out these quotes. And then of course you could send it. It would send them an email, say your quote, here's your quote for quote request XYZ or 123. Um,
Okay.
and then they can view it, download it, whatever.
Perfect. Now, I'm assuming, not sure if there's already some contracts that like, or actually terms and conditions that can be added just so it can always be printed on the rate sheet, right? Would that be something that we can add?
On the quote?
Right, on the quote. Say if I send you like a template of, we were currently drafting that on the contract. So if I can send you like the terms and conditions, general terms and conditions, would that
Mhm.
be something that we could add just as a format always on the quote?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can
Okay.
send me that. Would it be dynamic based on the details of the quote, or would it always be the same like disclaimer stuff?
I would try to just send you something just really general, so like general disclaimer,
Okay.
like the transit times are estimated and they change, things like that.
Okay.
I'll try to make it really simple.
Okay. That
They
sounds
do kind of vary in between air, but we'll try to like redirect the customer to a really specialized terms and condition that they can find online or they can download or I'll probably have to touch base with Mr. Adolfo just to see how he wants to handle that. But yeah, something just general like transit times are estimated, quote is based on volume and a description. If this changes at the time of pickup, the rate will be subject, will change. The mortgages are not included, etc. Something like that.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And that would
Okay,
just be
perfect.
on the bottom of every quote, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, on the bottom of every quote. With the validity, do we have the validity of the quote? Validation on this side? I'm not sure. I think we don't, right? Do we have a field where they can add, where we can add the validity of the rate?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
So no, I think the request is that yeah, there's gonna be something if we can add, please. Like the
Uh-huh.
validity rate is a disclaimer because the rates are based on scheduled shippings.
Right.
And if we don't ship on that date, then the rate changes. It's like when you buy an airline ticket, the rate that will give you the airline is for that date. If you change the dates, that price will change.
Right.
So yeah, that's something that we typically when we quote a customer, um, either the shipping lines or MSC, they will give us normally between 15 to 20 days rate validity, meaning that if we book between that date, we'll get that rate. If we
Right.
depart, I'm sorry, if we depart, because
Right.
we book and then that's the departing date.
Yes.
So yeah, that's something I think that's a bit something important because if you depart, say after the 1st of November, the rate will be subject to change. And it varies. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but it kind of all depends on the market and on the seasonal, and it's really yeah, it's fluctuable.
Right. So then on the quote itself that they get, it says like does it say a single date like target departure date, something like that?
Well, we manifested just validity rate. We ETD and what we manifested on based on the rate we just show expires on or validity.
Oh,
Does that
okay.
make sense?
Yeah,
Did I
yeah.
explain
Because
myself? Yeah.
they're gonna ship it, they're gonna have the quote, but then it's that they're responsible for communicating with their supplier on when it's gonna ship and all that. And if they ship it too late, then of course the validity expires and it's gonna change. The cost is gonna change. Is that
Exactly.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. That's right.
Okay. So then so that's what goes on the quote is a validity, uh, rate validity. Is it a
Date.
date?
Yeah.
So
Some yeah.
like an
Some
expiration date, essentially.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Basically,
Got it.
expiration date. Yeah, we can also manifest it like expiration date or
Okay.
well, yeah. I think the wording is typically validity or validation, something like that. I'll look for one um example and I'll show you.
Okay. I have one of those
Validity, right?
quotes.
Yeah.
It should be on that quote then that you had
Yeah,
sent
it
me.
should be on the quote. And also, I think on the MSC, if I don't mistake, it gives you the quote that says quote valid to ship between this date and this date. If you don't, so yeah, it gives you like a window, I think. Let me see if
Okay.
I can.
So it's either a
Almost
window or it's just an expiration date.
exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay. Like, what's the furthest out in time wise that someone ever requests a quote for? Like, hey, we're planning to ship something in January. That's too far ahead, right?
Yeah, especially with it happens, but I think it only we can honor the rate for a longer period of time for a specific mode. For example, for over the road,
Oh yeah.
Also depends on how much volume you're going to give us. Like if the client says we're going to give you 100 containers per month, but give me a validity of 6 months, you just play with the numbers and you give a run or not a random number, but just highest average
Mm-hmm.
for the ocean freight, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't lose that
Right.
much when it fluctuates.
Gotcha. Okay. So then, um, 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 oh, but in general, you don't have the rates further out, like for ocean freight, you don't have them for like
No,
today. What is the latest out that you or furthest out that you have the rates for?
we're
Is
currently
it
working on a 14-day basis period. So right now I have the dates valid until shipping to the 31st of October. And then by the 30th of October, we'll go ahead and we'll get an updated rate for another 2 weeks, another
okay?
15 days. Yeah, we're still working, but and that's the same application or for the air freight. In which one? In over the road, that's where we have more time that we can use that same rate, especially on the Mexican side. Like from the dryage from the ports of destination in Mexico to the plants, to the locations, we typically have 6 months with that rate to be so we can use.
Mm-hmm.
So for one customer, we're giving them yearly rates, but that's something that we have. I mean, yeah, that's besides. Yeah, never mind that. That's another customer that we quote them differently than how we quote Kohler.
Okay. So then like if somebody put in a quote request today and they said they want to ship on November 5th, what do you send them? Or you cannot send them a quote until
Yeah, we asked for the quote. It takes us a little bit more time, but we do. We kind of like Anna says, protect ourselves and then just speculate a little bit higher.
oh,
But
so
we try.
you
In that
will
case,
provide a quote?
we will provide a quote, but we would have to request a quote, like ask the airline or whoever we're quoting with, like to specify that we're going to ship on this date.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I think that's where the system will kind of reject the automation of sending that quote versus us having to manually input that quote.
right, okay.
Yeah, that's where it gets a bit tricky because some quotes are we don't have the information, so we have to work on that quote to get the specific price, the current market price, etc.
Okay. So then like, yeah, so with a quote request, the portal should then do like a checklist of checks, like to see if it can be instant, which is
Exactly.
if it's a
Yeah.
dedicated lane, yes, but it also has to fall within this date range, the cargo ready date or the desk whatever you call it, right?
Right.
Has to
Yeah,
be
the date of
within,
dispatch.
yeah, day of
Yeah, for
dispatch.
exactly. Now, like say on this example, from what I think, if the if the customer would ask us to quote from Asia going to Long Beach, in this particular quote, there's fields or there's quote items, line items that the system can identify and look for because they're not going to change. Like example, if you want to scroll down, please, Joseph, so I can
Yeah,
read them.
here you
So thank you. So the booking agent fee, that one will stay the same, and we can honor that for I think the whole year.
go. Okay.
The dry edge at origin is something that's also hasn't been changing. It does change based on the amount of pallets and on the amount of the container. But so say I think it's 450 for a 20-foot container, and then for a 40, I think it's 650, right, Anna?
Yeah.
So that's also something that we can respect for 6 months. Exactly with custom inspection, export document fee, customs charge, basically all of them except for the ocean freight. That's the one that does kind of change on us, and we have to update it based on the estimated dispatch. But the other line items are items that we know and we can negotiate with our vendors to have that rate valid for 6 months at least, or even for a year.
Okay. Okay. So then, yeah, and that's the thing about the rate sheet and the and all these rates and when they expire and stuff like that. That's a really hard problem for me to tackle until I know. Um, I mean, really, I guess it boils down to that. How long is this rate going to be valid for this
Yeah.
particular? Yeah.
That particular question.
That's oh, so yeah, it's you all have the same question. So
Yes, I know. I feel your pain, my friend. I feel your pain. Something that we were breaking our head for. Like that's why we have so much issues with invoices, and that they're not authorized because then they get confused with the dates, and then oh yeah, it's a hard thing.
oh my gosh. Well
Yeah.
then I don't want to make it any harder. I want to make sure it's easier or
Yeah.
make
No.
it
No. No
easier.
worry. But we feel yeah. So let's. I mean, we'll try to help you as best we can and make it as simple as we can. Like I said, there's some items that don't have to be updated every bi-weekly, but some of them are like just the ocean freight and the air freight per kilogram. But we'll
Uh,
figure it out. Don't worry, we'll figure it out, my friend.
okay, okay. Yeah. And so I mean at first these could be blank because you have the rate sheet and you can just fill in the numbers.
Correct.
So in the very beginning, let's say next week, I'm able to get this workable so that at least you can get a request and you can create a quote in within the system and test it out and make sure that works right. And then you'll probably have some changes that you need at that point. And then, but yeah, at least we'll already be almost there. And then as we start building out the rate sheet database, then we can start automating some of these to be auto-populated. And we'd have maybe colors that would show that they were auto-populated from a
Okay,
from a
that's
dedicated
perfect. Yeah.
lane, or maybe some a red or something that would show that that rate is expired. Like there's not one
Okay.
in the database, but the last one, the previous one was this, or something like that. It can auto-populate, but you have to maybe spot check it, to make sure it's still valid or if you need to change it.
Okay, that
Um,
makes sense.
I mean, that's all. That would be great to do it like that. And but again, over time, I think this is how we're going to figure those things out.
Okay, yeah, I know that's gonna be like a work improvement. So, um, yeah, we can start with the basics, and I think it's a pretty well layout. So I really feel that it's a nice layout, really concrete, straightforward, easy to understand, easy to work on. So good job on
Okay.
that.
Thank you. And this was just kind of our first design, but like, and I already know what needs to change for the most part up here. But I also think I wanted all of these details at the top should probably be visible at all times because right now, if I scroll down, I can't see it. And I feel like, okay, then you might get lost and think, well, which quote am I working on again?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are design considerations that we're gonna have to deal with. But overall, making sure all the data is here the data you need, right? Because I want to
Exactly.
make sure that it has everything you need.
The key points.
Yeah. And what do you think is I only basically put us here for about 40 minutes, if that's okay. If you want to go longer, that's fine too. I still have time. Depends on your
No,
schedule. Um, but what
that's
I
fine. Yeah,
want,
that's fine with me. 40 minutes is fine, or we can extend wherever you. So yeah, I have a little bit more time now. But if you're,
yeah, no, I have
if
time.
you're
I would like to spend as much time as we can, if and just
okay,
also being considerate of your time.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you, Joseph.
so in here, this is something else that I think is important that we think like Kohler or whatever and just figure out what's important to them. So in this case, we haven't really talked about this screen too much, but if this is kind of their dashboard and some of these numbers might not be that important to them. I don't know. So if since you know your customer better than I do, um, can you think of anything that's important for them to see on their dashboard?
I think that's really the number of yeah. I think it's good. Total request, pending review, awaiting approval, accepted. So it's perfect. Raw funnel.
Okay. Just, whatever. I mean, these are kind of like, I don't know, what do you call
Yeah.
these
Like
metrics that,
KPIs, metrics, exactly.
yeah, yeah. And maybe they don't care about certain KPIs. Maybe they just need to see, oh, we have two outstanding quotes. I don't know. So maybe I don't want to give them something that they might throw back in your face or
I
you know what I'm
agree. I
saying?
can
Like,
I can touch base with them and see what recommendations or expectations they might have, and I can share that feedback with you. Like
okay. And so, I mean, in other words, we don't have to have this section at the top. So it's just concepts. Well, let's say we just have this, which is their list of quotes. It would show um, probably not the cities. It would probably show whatever, Sun Spring to Kohler, Reynosa or whatever. For this little piece right here. And then I don't know if the weight and the volume should be here. The amounts will show up as soon as you finish, right? As soon as you send the quote back to them. Um, so yeah, this
okay,
again,
that makes sense.
we'll work this out. And types, okay, so air, OTR, and what else? Yeah, I don't think we designed any other pages. So it's just the new quote form and this page, the dashboard, and that's it. So we don't even have like authentication built in yet. These are all the things that um we'll have to layer on after the functionality is working. But, we're going to have to create users because you're going to have multiple people doing these quote requests, right? From Kohler.
Exactly. Yes. And so
Roughly.
that's I think I really like the top section because that's something like you mentioned. If we're gonna have users, we can monitor like the colleagues say how many quotes were worked on by this guy or that guy. So I think that's a
Yeah,
um
that's
good
true.
indicator because we can also measure our customer and the customer can measure us. Like how much time did you take to quote myself? And then we can also measure some of the team members that give them a bonus or if they whenever have them like motivate them and also measure them so we can be analyzing who's doing what and how much.
Yeah, so that really is we'll collect all that data as it's being used, we collect all the data and then later we can layer on or we can pull reports or make queries that can highlight that data. Like right now, this would be your dashboard, right? And you could have the number of quotes. Obviously, like a date range would be up here. Like you can change the date range 30 last 7 days, last 30 days, whatever. And these numbers would change. Um, But then you can have stuff like this where you can keep track of any KPIs that you want. So, right, here are a bunch of KPIs. It could even
Nice.
say, it's increased by this much. You
Sweet.
can see, oh, the rate sheet's working because more of the quotes are becoming instant versus manual. And
Perfect. That's
maybe
really nice.
have a breakdown like that, or even something like this to show over time.
Okay.
So yeah, these are just ideas, but once you see these, that might spark some ideas of your own. Later on, hey, we might put AI to look at the metrics, right?
Okay.
Analyze the
Yeah.
data, and then it has insights. Okay, like this one. Maybe you have multiple clients besides Kohler, and then it's saying, um, oh, to consider implementing dedicated account management for those key clients. So yeah, those are things that could be fun to play around with, but
That's really nice.
yeah,
Really, really interesting.
possibilities.
Yeah. Good ideas. I like it.
And then so yeah, rates would go in here, but we don't have it yet. But that's kind of in here. You would choose rates on the left, and then you'd be able to build out the rate sheets, go modify values as needed.
Okay.
I was trying to think of what's a better, I guess, format than the spreadsheet format. A lot of these rates to me make more sense vertically. In fact, I kind of did that with your rate sheet. You can see it here.
Okay.
So all of these were your columns at the top, but I put them as
Mm,
rows here so I could see the values like listed. And that's how I
I
came up
see.
with the price, like the rates line items
Okay.
page. I was just having to look at it vertically. Um, but for each of these, we have different fields for the LCL, for the inland, right? So I need to go through all these and figure it out.
Okay.
I might even need to take a trip to Monterrey.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Oh, Anna, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Anna.
yeah, Anna's waiting. There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome, Anna.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, it's gonna be, I don't know,
No,
it's
no,
still a tough
no
challenge for
me
me to figure
escuchan. ¿Me
that out.
escuchan?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I
Yes,
cannot
I
hear
am.
anything.
You can't see anything? You can hear anything?
Is she in the office with you or?
Yeah, she's in the office with me also. Let me see if she's having audio issues. So I'm gonna put you on speaker and go. In the meantime, go ahead, Joseph. Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Um, okay, give me a second here. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at some notes from last time. We talked about also having something like for them to select the type of quote that they want, and then we'd present them with a different options of the form. So it wouldn't just be one form, it would change based on what they're asking for. Um, so we talked about like the ocean freight looking different than the over the road stuff and things like that. So I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure like what my idea was is that everything stays the same, but then they or you really would know which shipment mode it's going to be just based on what they put here. Don't you think?
Yeah. On the dates, I think that's also important because, for instance, like if they want us to deliver at this date, if it's by ocean, there's no way we're gonna make it, say, like in a week. Even by air is also, um, like not that fast. I mean, it
Right.
is faster, but not so fast. But yeah, I think that's onto a good indicator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but also depends on what the origin and destination are. Because sometimes you said there's um this, the suppliers from China, but then you also have the finished goods origins, the places that I guess produce the finished goods and then they send them to the direct to consumer route.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so those are not considered those are more over the road, right? I think you mentioned.
If they're
Or no,
from
KTM, you
yeah,
said KTM.
KTMX. Yeah, KTMX is the
Okay.
business unit. And
So,
they're from Asia, and then final destination is Laredo or Paso. But I guess that they can also just, we can try to have the customer just ask them like, hey, well, where is this picking up? Where is this going to? And then we can either the system can kind of maybe with some fields or some data can identify, okay, yeah, this is a food truckload, or we can just leave it like that, and then we can suggest them. Or the other will be for them to just select the mode of transport, like select mode, either you want to by air, by a full container load, or by LCL.
when it's air, then it's just like they just load the individual pallets onto the plane, or how does that work?
Its air is based on the Incoterm, because if it's an X Works, we also have to make the pickup. So it's
Mo-
by air, it's sectioned, and there's
mo-
always going to be like a transportation
most
for a truck.
most of the time on air freight, it's X works. It's
Okay.
like 95% of the time.
Okay. So that means
Yeah,
uh
but there's always gonna be like a truck involved if it's air
Mhm.
for the first leg and the last leg.
okay, so like yeah, so the container that travels to the airport, then the container's unloaded at the airport. That's just
When
for me
it's
to understand how it's actually transported.
Yeah, no, in this case, when it's air, it gets loaded into a truck. The pallets, the physical pallet
Yeah.
gets
Like a
loaded
dry
into
van cargo.
yeah, like a
It,
dry van, like a small tray, like a van, depending on the amount of pallets, that's the number of the unit that you send.
yeah.
Okay.
And then you can send from a small van, like a small van, just to pick up one pallet of a couple boxes, or
Mhm.
you can send all the way into a 53 dry van.
Okay. But they still have to unload all that and load it into the plane
Exactly.
In the
Right.
piece
tubes.
by
Yes, sir.
piece,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir. That's why we have those concepts which are release at origin or consolidation at origin, because that's where so typically when we send up to pick up an air a shipment from air, we
Hmm.
send the truck will physically go to the plant, pick up the freight, and then it'll go to the origin destination airport, and then it will get down unloaded either at the warehouse or within the airport, like on the side of the airport. And then that's a fee that you have to pay at origin, at destination, and then that warehouse is dedicated just to unload all that freight and then sort it based on the airport bill. And then they'll sort it and then they'll load them. Have you seen those big containers that on the airport? Like it's big, I think they're like, yeah, metal containers. Typically you'll see them like just beside the air cargo facility.
Hmm.
And then
I think
so
I
the
have, yeah.
warehouse,
I
yeah,
never
the
knew what they
warehouse
were.
will. So yeah, they use them to load the plane. So the pallets, they put them inside those containers, those big metal containers. And then they'll stuff like the whole container, and then those containers are the ones that physically get loaded into the plane. So that those charges are the ones that apply on their consolidation or release at origin or terminal handling charge. We typically charge those in those concepts.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then and yeah, and then it flies, and then and it's the same thing, but on the opposite. Once it gets to the warehouse, like the destination airport, the plane will get there and unload, and then they'll unload those containers, and then at the physical warehouse, they'll go ahead and unload the pallets from those containers, and then they'll sort them based on the airboat bill, and then you have to start the process with the warehouse to release that freight, and then the broker will physically go and start asking for that freight. And then once that's ready, once that's released and you have done all the paperwork and the payments and all that good stuff, then you can go ahead and send the truck to pick up, and then the warehouse personnel will physically load those pallets into the truck, and then the truck will do the delivery.
Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of
interesting.
people involved.
That's why it's so
Although,
expensive.
yeah, yeah, petrol
I'm
also
thinking,
goes
okay,
up.
what's the plane flying the cargo doesn't sound like it'd be that expensive, but no, I can see why there's a lot of work, extra work.
Yeah.
Um, wow. Yeah, I'm looking at the rate sheet on my other screen for the air and so the KTM.
Joseph, I've just shared the Maersk quote webpage,
Okay.
and they have like this their main homepage is a tab that it says prices, and they have like big but I don't know if you can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me stop mine for now and then give me a second because I forget where the buttons go on this laptop. Okay. I think I stopped mine. You should be able to share yours.
Yeah.
Here it goes.
Here you go. Can you see the Merck screen?
Yes.
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, well, it says Merck spot rate. This is only for FCL. This is ocean quote request. You can get a quote here, and they have like a button only for specifically air freight, like instant prices.
Oh.
And so if you go here, instant prices. It's basically the beginning of your web page that you were showing,
Hmm.
and it says from city. Let's say we're going to depart from Shanghai, and we're going to arrive to Manzanillo, Colima. And yeah, I want to pick the containers in another city. No, I don't want.
Just hold on 1 second. Sorry to interrupt. You see those two sections that says CY? This
Yes.
means that we're just quoting from the origin. CY stands for container yard and container yard, meaning that I will arrange to deliver the container to the port in the location. So in this case, we're arranging for that with a separate agent, separate trucking. But in some cases, they can also ask for
The
Merce to pick up the container. So the customer, in this case, say that Kohler is the customer. I think they will ask us, and how we're currently doing is we're picking up from the origin, from the physical location. So if you change Anna, please, like CY, I think it does give you the option to place the location, right?
is the is that the drayage? Like when you
Yep,
say drayage, it means that piece that they pick it up from the supplier and drive it to the air or to the port, right?
just
So that's what SD is, or what is
SD, yes, cheaper destination. Or what
okay.
does, I'm sorry, what does SD mean for?
Oh, it doesn't matter. But I mean, that's what it's saying here, right? Essentially.
Yep,
Oh, sorry, I was in a phone call.
That's okay. I was just asking if CY means that the merchandise is going to be at the port, then SD means it needs to also be driven to the port from the factory or whatever, right?
Yeah.
correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you click here, you need to put the pickup city where you need to pick up the cargo.
Ah, okay. Because the
So
port could be in
Merck's,
a different city.
And Maersk is going to quote the truck that it's going to pick up the empty container and deliver it to the warehouse, so the warehouse can fill up
Fill it.
that container and then put it back
I
into the
see.
terminal. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
So
What
you
if
put
it's a LCL?
it they have another thing here. Look.
They have a smaller vehicle go pick up
Mm-hmm.
the
The freight. Well,
merchandise,
yeah,
the freight.
essentially it'll be the same. I think Maersk does offer the pickup also.
Clear ocean,
Uh-huh.
less
I'll
than
see.
container load here.
Okay.
You need to click here. But well, let me just finish
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
one. And then you put here the type of container. It gives you all the information for the containers that are available to quote.
Hmm.
Reefers, open tops, flat flat racks, top. And then you choose the standard one, which is the, oops, no, this is not the one.
So if
This,
I was Kohler, as an example, if I were Kohler and I go to Merce.com to do this, that means I would have to know what size of container I need.
Exactly. Yes,
But
sir.
on your quote form that we're building, um, I think when we talked about it last time, we make it easier for Kohler. They don't even have to choose that because you're gonna kind of recommend the one that's the best price for the amount of freight that they have.
Yeah, that could be
Oh,
the, I mean,
it could
ideally,
be an
but
option,
it could be an option, but I think, yeah, I mean,
or what do
if
you
it's,
think it's, if we had to choose one or the other? Um,
I would choose, and yeah, I think just correcting, have them decide how you want to ship it. Like if you want to ship it on a container, because if for some reason I can imagine it's going to be harder if we do the calculation based on the input that they show, like based on 2 pallets or 3 pallets on this date, we recommend sending it by air or by LCL. So yeah, I think it would be best if we, or easier on our side, if we just let the customer choose from a drop-down menu what they want us to quote, and then we just quote it based on their request. What do you
okay.
think?
I
yeah,
mean, do they still have to give you the CPMs, or what is it? CBMs?
CBM.
Even if they say I need a 20
Or
foot, but then they still have to tell you the weight and the CBMs or not necessarily.
just the weight, yeah, not just the weight.
mm,
For the full container, just the weight, or in fact, not even the weight, because we can give them a quote and say I quoted you a 40-foot container, and then just specify the maximum weight
Yeah,
that they
because
can load.
sometimes they don't even know how much of the volume is. So they're just thinking, okay, I need a quote of maybe I can fill up a 20-foot container. So they choose the 20-foot container instead of LCL because they don't have the final cargo details yet.
Okay, so like in our form, we have very detailed section for items, and they can add items. This would this be too much then?
I think for us to quote, if that would be necessary to quote air and LCL and LTL. But say if they want to quote just a full container load, we don't need that information.
Air, LCL, and what's the other one?
LTL,
Oh,
which is, but we're not, do we have LTL on the radar or not? Right?
No, I don't think not.
I think so. No, we're working with
All right.
LTL.
No, no, no.
No,
Yeah.
we
we
won't.
do? No, we will, Anna, yeah.
See, we
I
will.
mean, I think, yeah, we would. Yeah, let's go ahead and add it, please, Joseph, if we can. LTL also, which is basically the same thing, but LCL stands for less container load, and then it's 1 or 2 pallets being moved on ocean, and then LTL stands for less truckload, and then 1 or 2 pallets moved on a full truckload
Oh, so it depends on if it's ocean or if it's
yeah, if it's over the road. Yeah.
over the road.
But now, for example,
Okay, so
when they
then
ask us,
yeah.
go ahead, sorry.
No, yeah, so you're saying, because like on one of the other forms, let's look at the original form. Um, the original has those options. So if they picked full container 20, I guess they'll put in the weight optional
Yeah,
or
optional and
mandatory.
then optional exactly. We don't, it's not required for us to give them a quota for a full container.
Okay. And so, yeah, so both of these weight and volume are optional or not even required at all, essentially. You just said there's a maximum weight.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you should, if they don't know the weight because they're still not sure of what the freight is going to be, then what happens if they go over the weight?
If they go over the weight,
Like if they load up the
um,
container,
mhm.
who then says, no, this is too heavy? Do they, how do they know that it's overweight?
At origin, they do a VMI inspection,
VGM,
VGM, I'm sorry.
verified gross mass, is they weigh the full container before loading it into the vessel.
Oh, so they do that at the port
Yep. Yep.
and then they say, oh, sorry, we're not going to ship this.
Exactly. Or they
Or they
return to
just only
Mexico.
charge extra weight.
Well, they
Oh,
have like a limit. They have a limit. They can load it, say, I think up to 24 tons. And then, for example, on the States, if it's overloaded, the limit, they send that container to a offshore warehouse, like right beside the port, and then they'll make you unload the freight that's overweight, and then they'll deliver the container with the max limit weight, and the rest will stay there, and then you have to go pick it up.
oh,
Yeah, but I mean, technically, they give the maximum illegal weight is 20 tons on the containers, but 20 and I think it's a little bit less on the 20, and then 40, the same 20, and then if you go overweight, like United States, they'll charge you like a overweight fee, but up to 24, right, Anna, or 25.
Um,
It varies.
yeah,
okay.
it
So then in
varies.
that case, if they pick out FCL, well, Maersk is asking for the weight
On their
on your
page.
website, yeah.
Mhm.
And then, but you will not then, you won't even ask for the weight, essentially, right?
Mm, no, I don't think it's
No, it's not necessary. But
necessary.
we can stay like the max limit weights on it, and
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly. Max limit up to 21 tons. There will be a overweight fee or something like that.
Oh, okay. So you just put that there. Oops.
Yep.
Yeah. So then if they choose FCL, we just say that here and then they have to just deal with it. Okay. And then requested date, this is gonna be the date of dispatch. What date, what do you want to call the date that they, because you said
They
there's a
were
cargo
asking
ready
for,
date.
yeah, and this one is here. When is your cargo ready to ship? And you put just like the date here. Let's say no, let's say prior that. Mm, 30. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Continue to book.
So then
And then,
if there was a CY, if you chose CY, then that means that the freight has to be at the port by that date
yes.
for this quote to be within the validity or whatever.
Yes. So they offer you this one is sold, but they are offering a $4,376 for container and departure on the November 5th,
Hmm.
and this it
Oh, so
will
you put
arrive.
October 30th, right? And they're telling
Yep,
you, no, the earliest is November the 5th, or these are the
yep,
dates available. Okay.
exactly. And then they tell you the vessel, and then there's a button to book.
Okay.
They choose the the date of departure. And the next one is November 12th.
Okay. I'm
Vessel is
sorry.
not open yet.
Oh, okay.
Can you
So
go back and try to see if it gives you a rate for like say booking on December or something like that?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I
It
was
did.
I was talking, I was showing something, but I realized I wasn't showing my screen anymore.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying, look,
I
like right
apologize.
here, but you can't
Uh,
even see what I'm looking at.
Sorry. Let me stop sharing my screen.
no, it doesn't say. It doesn't give you the rate.
It doesn't have any vessel
No,
open yet.
it doesn't give you the rate. It's also just like they work also bi-weekly then.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Because the customer is asking like, hey, we need more rates. We need higher validity on the rates. We need higher validity on the rates. But even Maersk as a spot doesn't give you the rates.
No.
Wow. So then if you have a quote that, yeah, so if like you chose October 30th, which you should have a rate for.
Yep.
But you still have to go in to one of these shippers and make the quote, even if it's an instant quote, because what if the vessel is full, or they'll always have a vessel available. But like on the you're this is the okay.
Well, there's the thing is that we go to our agent in origin, so to ask for a quote, and he give us for example, he has another contract directly with, for say, Maersk,
Oh, okay.
and they buy space
Okay.
in advance. So
That's why
that's
you
why.
have a
Mhm,
guaranteed rate for
exactly.
2 weeks.
So
Yeah.
yes, and so our agent ends up billing the ocean freight to us, and we are paying them in 2 months with our
Mm.
credit.
Hmm.
So that's how it works. But Kohler wants a validity of 1 year rates, and we don't even have the next week ones.
But they know that you're having to subcontract these shipments. I
Yes,
mean,
see, of course, yeah,
yeah,
they do know.
but they still want.
Mm-hmm.
Customers are very demanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
I'm gonna
then,
stop sharing my screen. I don't know if you wanna see something
okay.
else from here.
Um, I think whatever you showed me, since I'm recording the meeting, I can look back at these pages that you showed me so I can
All
get
right.
a better understanding. I understand it well. I just wanted to so then I'll share mine. I think I can share. We can both share at the same time, but I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. No worries.
We'll still have to switch back and forth. But this was, can you see this one? Mine?
Yes.
Yeah, this was the original layout that we had talked about. That's what I was showing you, that we can choose FCL,
Mm,
Mm.
LCL.
that's
Nice,
perfect.
perfect. Yes, that's perfect.
So this is preferred instead of maybe this where they have to put all these
Yeah.
details. That's too much.
Hmm.
Well, I think it's if you select air, it does
Right.
have to require this information or
Yes.
LTL.
I
But
guess that I
for
think I keep focusing on FCL because that
okay,
that's
the main one,
I want
right?
to no, I just want to fully understand that one and then move on to
The other ones.
the next
Okay,
one. But
okay.
yeah, because then
All
like
right.
yeah, these would be different forms that they would see based on what they choose, or at least different
Exactly.
options would pop up, let's say. So if they
Yeah.
choose, and that's what it's doing here. Like if I put FCL 20,
Mm, perfect. Yeah.
it does ask for weight and volume, but like you said, we could just leave that out
Hmm.
and just have the date instead. Um, the Incoterm, if they choose the dedicated lane, if they choose the origin and destination and it's dedicated, then I feel like this would already be, they wouldn't have to choose the Incoterm.
Right.
But
Yeah, I think yeah,
if
because the Incoterm is also gonna ask you like other questions, right?
I don't know, would
Yeah,
it?
like based. Yeah, so I mean, if it's yeah, it does. I think because it's free on board. you will just need the port of origin. If it's X works, you need
The
the
pickup
pickup
address.
address to know, or at least the pickup city to know where you're picking that container.
I see. And if,
Would you
but
like us
if it's a
to?
dedicated lane, we have that info. If not, then they'll have to type in more about the origin. They'll have to, like you said, put the address.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I think like maybe origin would be instead of cities, right? It would be well
Port of
no,
origin.
I think we'd start with this.
Yes, yeah, I think
And
that's the
then once
first
they
thing.
choose, then you ask them, okay, where is it? Kind of like in the other one, the one that the Robinson one that you sent me.
Hmm.
First it asks for this, and then it asks for, okay, where is it coming from? And this is where we can list out all of their suppliers. And if their supplier
Correct.
is not listed, they would just choose like
A city.
other or yeah, or city or something. And then it would let them put in the required fields, which is the city and um yeah, so it's very it's
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
I know. I
gonna
feel
be
it's gonna be. I mean, because we are making it very easy for Kohler if we add all those personalized. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
items like select your vendor, select that. It's gonna be really easy for them but it's gonna be, I think, more hard for us because it has to be. I think the form will have to work on a if error kind of formula. Like if you
Yeah.
select this, give them that. If you select this, give them that. So I think that's a little bit more hard. Would you think, Joseph, if we just leave it like for them to select origin, port of destination, and then if they don't have that, okay, then give us the origin city and origin destination. Will that make it easier?
So they choose the ones that we already have, right?
Mm-hmm.
The predetermined suppliers, or they can choose a different a
Yeah,
city.
or like instead of suppliers, we can just have them select the port of origin.
Oh, the
I
port
mean, yeah, the port of origin
for FCL.
for LCL, yes.
And what about if they put in X works means what? That it
We have to pick up at the facility of the shipper.
so then the
So if
origin is the facility, not the port with X
exactly,
work.
yeah. So they can, instead of selecting the vendor, we can have them just put the city of the vendor.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, however works easiest for you. Um, but I think, yeah, whatever. What do you think on a standpoint in terms of programming and analytic and making the web page work?
Well, I would love to make it simpler also. Um, because see, like on the CH Robinson, they did not ask for addresses, but then again, maybe they asked for it later. Because I didn't get that far. I don't actually submit the request when I was playing with that form. So like, but they would need to know unless they just do ports, you know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I think CH Rosen does they do offer pickup at origin.
Okay. Which then means, yeah, the origin, you have to have the full address, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess if it's a supplier, they choose the supplier, and then once they choose it, it'll list it here, like the name of the supplier, the address, it'll just populate it there so they can see it.
Yeah.
And if they choose other or specify city, they'll have to put the entire address. Because that would imply then it's like
Sense.
a custom quote. It's not like a dedicated lane.
Yeah.
So we can make them put in the entire address. Would that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's for FCL. So they choose FCL. If it's FCL, they pick a supplier or they specify the entire address. The destination, they pick their place, which is Kohler or whatever, Sunny Mex or whatever. Or they might have a custom destination too, right? Which in that case, they would have to input all the details, the address, the city, everything. So,
Correct.
okay. And I guess on their end, on the Kohler side, maybe they'll have a place where they can define, like we have predefined ones on the rate sheet, but then later they might want to add some new destinations and origins, so that they can reuse them. Um, that's a possibility too.
Yeah, it could work.
Because we're gonna preload it with the ones we know, but then um or maybe the first time they specify a new one, then it kind of just saves it there for them to choose again in the future if they want to.
Yeah, they can probably maybe like save for my favorites or something like that.
Right. Okay. And then full container, container size, weight and volume not required. The date is the what did we call it again? The date of dispatch or
Yeah,
cargo
they'll
ready date?
Cargo
dispatch
ready
or
date.
whatever.
Cargo ready date. Okay. And then okay. Description. And so like whenever they ship stuff, do you have to know what they're shipping for customs reasons or do they handle that? Does
Like
Kohler
the
submit
commodity.
yeah, do they submit the customs like paperwork? Because they once they know what the freight is, do they send that to you and you do that part? Or they do it?
Get a quote. We don't need that information. We don't need the like the detailed information, the paperwork. Once the shipment is ongoing, we do need it. Does that make sense?
So it wouldn't really be part of this tool
Yeah,
then.
it wouldn't. I mean, we can add it. That's fine, but it's not a mandatory field, or it's not something that we will require to give a quote.
Okay.
But
I think
Otan,
I think
Oh,
hazmat.
that it's only for to quote a door to door without customs clearance, but we are also doing customs clearance. That wouldn't be great if they can also quote the customs clearance in that same quote.
Yeah, but that's really technical because you have to, if you want to give them like a specified quote of what they're going to pay in terms of duties, you need to first classify the freight and then do a calculation based on the value of the merchandise, and then you can give them a breakdown of what they're really going to pay. So I
so
think for in the terms in a transport standpoint, we just need to know if it has one or not.
oh, okay.
Anything kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, it does work, but uh, to make it to look moving, I mean, thinking out of the box and thinking like bigger. Anna does have a point that we do need that information to provide a service quote for the services of warehousing and customs. Um,
But maybe it's a topic for another reunion because Adolfo needs to have his opinion on this as well.
Okay. So like
If
when you send quotes or when you get a request for a quote, you can send them a quote, but it's subject to change, I would imagine, because they still haven't, if they don't know the freight yet, then your quote is just kind of an estimate. I mean, it's going to change because later on you're going to find out more details and you're going to produce more detailed quote or give them an idea of what the actual charges are going to be.
for the transport cost, I don't think it will change. It only does change when if it's like hazmat, that's when you have to pay like a higher price, but the commodity doesn't really affect the price for a full container load. If we're
Okay.
talking for a full container load service, if they want to get a quote, it's something that if they ship popcorn or if they ship cars or if they ship anything that doesn't fall under the category of hazmat, the rate will stay the same. But if they decide to ship instead of cars or like dry freight or finished goods, if they decide to ship oil or acid or anything that might consider be hazmat that falls under those categories, gasoline, etc.
Lithium.
Lithium batteries, yeah, like medical supply that's radioactive or infectious or toxic or flammable goods, gas. Then the rate does change, and also the availability and the ability of the rate. Because, for example, if they were like, hey, can you ship hazardous material from this place to this place? Some of the shipping lines don't offer that service, and they're just subject to specific hazmat items. Like, say, they can ship gas in this form, and they can ship I don't know, explosive in this amount. So it does vary.
Okay. So like, let's say we just put, does the freight include hazmat items? Yes or no?
Exactly. Yeah, just click
And
a
if,
quick button, like
and if it
yeah,
does,
click option.
and if they do choose that, then maybe they should also at least type in more or less what it is that's hazmat or
Right. We will ask them for their UN number.
UN number.
Yeah, UN number. If you Google it, it will give you like everything that's classified as hazmat. The United Nations regulated for transport, they assign a UN number, that should be the same everywhere, like in all the world. And that UN number will give you the specific, like gasoline, oil, out of blah blah blah, like the whole technical things.
So do you think it's a good idea to say, does your freight include hazmat? Yes. Um, okay, specify UN number.
Yep.
Okay. And if not, then they don't even have to put commodity description.
Yeah, it's not needed. Let me
Yeah.
see if
This is like,
requires
I want you to be able to gather the data you need when they submit the quote so that you don't
okay.
have to go back and forth with them with all the details, right? Because they
Yeah.
will, yeah, at least as much as possible.
I mean, in the commodity, I think we can leave that description and then just add two fields on the bottom. I'm actually seeing at Mercer's webpage. I'm
Mhm.
benchmarking to say that copying.
Mhm.
And they just have two options. One says required temperature control, and then the other one states consider dangerous goods. And then if you select, say, consider dangerous goods, it habilitates two more options that states select the IMO class and the UN number. And that's for dangerous goods. And then if select temperature control, it doesn't ask you for anything. It doesn't ask you for the temperature or for the freight. Only on the considered dangerous goods, it habilitates two more fields. And those two more fields is one is the IMO classification number, or I'm sorry, IMO shipment class, and then the UN number. I can show you my screen view. I just give you an example.
Okay. Um, got it. So you'll want that one too, the emo shipment class?
If we can add them, that'll be nice.
Okay.
Or at least the UN number,
Yeah.
because well, the emo class is also like you see how they only ship. Here's an example. For example, Maersk emo classes, there's currently 9 emo classes, but in the case for Maersk, they're only shipping these classes, which is 111, 122. They're not sending other ones.
Yeah. But would it be a select on our form or would it just be a free text where they just type it in?
They can type it in.
Okay.
Sure. We don't want to put like it's only 9 classes.
I mean, we
wherever.
can do the select as long as they'll know what to pick and it's useful for you to know which class it is.
These are the ones. It's only 9 classes, and it's breaking down into like this one: explosives, and then gases, flammable and combustible liquids, flammable solids, oxidizing substances and organic peroxides, toxics and infection substances, radioactive materials, corrosive substances, and miscellaneous dangerous substances. But yeah, they might not even know what they're shipping. I think just only the UN number. If they know their UN number, that's it. With the UN number, we can find everything.
It would just be one UN number, or like what if they had
But if they
two?
want to ship mixes,
Yeah, I don't know.
it can, but it also can't. That's so. For example, you cannot send like a corrosive material with a radioactive or with another chemical, or else like you create like an explosion.
Yeah. So Anna, do you get quotes like this, requests for hazmat things?
Yeah,
Mm,
very little, very
very
little.
little, super little. Like, let's say 90%. No, 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 more, right? Even 95% of the time it's regular cargo and 5% is hazmat,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yeah. Pretty small amount
Hmm.
of hazmat.
Hmm.
So if they're sending hazmat, they should know, right? They should know what to
Yeah,
pick.
they should know. Yeah,
Okay.
they should know. In fact, whenever we request like a hazmat quote, we always ask them for their the MSD.
Well,
That's something that we always ask them, like,
oh,
hey, I
yeah.
want a hazmat. We ask them like on email. I'll typically ask for the MSD, and then I'll just read it.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we could have
Yeah.
that where they can, because we do have on one of these forms, this one, they can upload something. So like let's say if it's hazmat, they can upload the MSDS.
There you go. That's one. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Good.
And then you
Yeah.
can just take the info from there.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And then additional
Yes.
notes will always be optional, but it'll be maybe you can suggest things that they might want to include in additional notes,
Yep. That makes
like
sense.
maybe things that require additional fees that you need to quote, like maybe like those options that some of those forms have where they need like a lift or all those different options. They can just type it in here. Like we don't need to have fields for all those different things, I
I
think.
agree. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. What else? I'm wondering why these aren't changing. Hmm. I guess I thought, oh, here it is. Oh, it was just for shipment type, FCL container size. For everything else, they just don't have the container size. So LCL, weight and volume. Okay. Let me see what else. I think all of these kind of based on that first form anyway. These are just different variations
Yes.
of the first one. Yeah.
Mm, yep.
Okay. So in most cases, then all the item details like this one, the dimensions and all that, we're pretty much never gonna ask them for that. Unless it's an air shipment, you said maybe that you do want these details.
Yes, correct. When it's air freight, yes, we need it.
Okay. And what about the others, which would be over the road?
For over the road, Yeah, for over the road, you might need the dimensions, right, Autumn? You might need the dimensions for the cargo.
For L for no over the road, no.
You don't need them?
No, for LTL we do.
Mm,
For over the road, we just need to know what kind of unit they want. And I think from over the road, we will also input like a drop-down menu of the size of the van. If they want
yeah,
a
that'll be good.
1.5, like a
Instead
small
of
straight-up
instead
van.
of they giving us the cargo details, they just are going to tell us what size of truck they need.
Yeah,
That's good. That's different.
Kind of like with FCL, container
yeah,
size. Over the road would be, what do you call it? Um,
yeah. It's truckload basically.
truck size or
Yeah, truck size. Yeah, truck size. Yeah.
are those on the rate sheet? If I look at over the road?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be on the bottom. There should be a tab says over the road OTR, and then
Uh-huh.
and then we only have the ones that they handle. So I think the lanes that they have are from Juarez to Laredo, Laredo to Juarez, Laredo to Kohler, Wisconsin, and then on the right side we have like 3.5, one something like that.
Oh, on the left, is it this one?
Mm, That's the one, yes, sir.
Oh, right here, down here. Like,
Yeah, the size of the van, and then 3.5. Is like 3.5 tons. I think we have to improve this, and that's good that we have you here also, Joseph. If you
uh-huh.
wanna give us like your feedback of how you see it, what can improve, please feel free. Like because I know
So,
that we kind of just did it, but I know that there's room for improvement. So
okay. But are these the three types that you basically deal with?
um for Kohler, yes, but for other customers, we have more options.
And they would choose it by name like this, Ramon Sprinter straight truck?
Yeah, they can do the drop down menu and then just select. What we can do is have
This one is
maybe
3.5, and these are will be have different tons numbers or
is
what?
that yeah. So I think what we need to do is say for a sprinter van you can fit this amount of volume and this amount of weight, and then for a straight truck this amount of volume, etc. So they can understand what they're getting for, right? What would you recommend?
We can put that as long as you know what to put there.
Yeah, yeah, we have. I think on the right side, if you go to the right, please,
Oh, okay.
we actually just
Oh yeah,
there you go.
pallets.
Like, yeah, two more pallets. We can just complement like two more pallets or two pallets slash up to this amount of weight.
Mm. You would just add weight to this, but these are
Yeah, just added weight. Exactly.
and it's always going to be pallets, right? I mean, they don't
Well,
ship
it could
other.
be no, yeah, I think the correct way to put it is CBMs, cubic meters or cubic feet,
Okay.
because sometimes
So
they
the
tell us,
dimensions.
yeah, the dimensions of the van of the unit.
Mm-hmm.
Our pallets, because pallets also change dimensions, right? Like
Yep.
the is
Yeah.
what is the what do
The
all
standard
pallets have in
size.
common? The bottom dimensions?
Yep. Well, we can say the standard size of a pallet is 45 by 48 by 45. Like 45 wide by 48 long, and then on the height 45. But that's standard. So yeah, that's something that we should correct here. We're supposing that all of them are going to be standardized, but they're not. We're not.
Yeah. I mean, but that's just going to be kind of an estimate for them in choosing which truck.
Correct.
Okay. So you could say like the volume and the weight, the volume in CBMs and the weight in kilograms, right?
Yeah,
And
kilograms
then in
or
parentheses, you could say like that's about 3 to 6 pallets or whatever.
yeah.
Okay. I think that would work. Okay, so then back to here, just to look at the other ones. And the KTM, what do we have there? We just,
ATM is this one, yeah, the ones like the full container load, but um, yeah, it's basically the same as a full container load, same structure.
same structure as
Hmm.
container load.
Joseph, if
Yeah.
you don't mind, could you show me how you sorted it? I'm thinking about how to like sorting it vertically to see how I can try to input it based on dates also. See if that makes sense a little
Like the way I sorted your
bit. Yeah, sort my
in
data
the
to
app or
see
on the spreadsheet?
on the spreadsheet, you like, please.
Okay, because on the app is, sorry, this is not, oh yeah, this is right. Yeah, so we were processing a quote, you would have the fees listed vertically, and the only thing missing here is, well, that's, yeah, that's something I was wondering too. How would you then, for each of these, well, no, just for ocean freight, that's the one that's based on dates, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the one that changes on rate on dates. So I like, yeah, on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
No, front end. I'm sorry. This is the front end, right?
No, this would be the back end because this would be you. This was what you would see
Oh,
on
I
the back
see.
end,
Okay.
something like this, and then you would start putting the line items together for that quote based
Okay.
on, to me, the template would be the Incoterm so that you'd have at least a baseline list of line items, and then you can then adjust from there. You can add custom ones. I would imagine like you could put a plus right here to add, and you would pick what kind of line item, and then it'll add it to the bottom here. And this might even be separated into sections because, part of it is the export, I guess. And then
Mhm.
part of it is the when it arrives at the port, and then part of it is if you're going to drive it to the door or all that stuff, or bring it from the door in at the origin. Maybe that could be broken into different sections here, just for you to see things more clearly, and that way you can pick, if you're picking a line item, it's only for that one section. Only the ones that are relevant to that one section, like these, it's all the way up to where here? No,
It's
it
only
all,
one
or up to here. All of this has to do with the origin, all of these fees.
booking agent fee, triage origin, custom inspection origin. Yes, sir. Custom
And
charge.
then
Well, the last one,
this one?
cus this one, I'm sorry, cus this one should be, I think, on the bottom of release because we have custom inspection at origin. I'm sorry, export document fee is for at origin, and then this one, the custom charge, is at destination.
Oh, okay. Because on the rate sheet, it comes out earlier. Or this is the order. Well, maybe not.
Over or no,
Custom
Anna,
origin.
cus is at origin or yeah, it's at
Like
origin, right?
this
Because
is,
yeah,
Origin.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
origin.
it's origin. My bad. I'm sorry.
uh-oh, I lost. Where did I put it? Uh-oh. I dragged the rate sheet off screen for myself, so I don't even know where I left it. Um, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's origin, Joseph.
It is? Okay.
It is, yes.
And then, so all of these are origin.
Correct.
And then this is, well, this is the voyage or whatever you call it. Uh,
Hmm.
and then here is destination, right? The release.
Correct.
These are all FCL based, right? Because I think there's
Right.
others. I mean, if you want, you could figure this out too, like on your side. Give me the list of fees for FCL, for LCL, just so I can see them side by side. And then, I mean, they're on the rate sheet. I think that's where I've been getting it from. So as long as the rate sheet looks accurate,
Yeah, I think
I'll
which
just go
version
with
do you
that.
have of the rate sheet, Joseph?
Let me see where
Yeah.
I lost it. Here it is. Rate sheet. Somehow it just got dragged off my screen. I'm trying to find it.
All right.
Okay,
I know
here.
how. Yeah, you're
Okay.
working with Mac, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had a couple ones, but I never really got to get the full potential of them. They're tricky ones.
There's a learning curve.
It
Uh,
is. It
but
is.
once you learn it, you're like, I like
Yeah,
it.
they're wonderful, right? Yeah, everything gets synced and it's really nice, really logical.
Yeah, but in business environments, I know that Windows is king. Like nobody's ever gonna switch away from Windows.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
okay, so yeah, this is your columns, but shown as rows, I guess. I just inverted the rate sheet so that everything was rows switched to columns and vice versa. So
Okay.
this is FCL. These are all the same ones that are on the form that I was showing you. And then like
Mhm.
LCL, same thing. I haven't really gone through each one, but and these codes, I assume they're like standard, right? Or they came from Opus maybe. That's why you have them listed here, or
Yeah, we got him from actually from US Bank and Kohler. They were changing some, and I don't know where they got it from. I think maybe from MERS or from I would say MERS because um MERS is the one they're currently working with them as like the global platform to manage all their shipments. So
okay. So like when you give them the final PDF of the quote, you're gonna want those codes there. Like they'll understand the codes,
yeah.
like the line items, they'll understand what they are based on the codes, I guess. And a short description like I had over here. So, okay. What about inland? Origin, destination. So like for these, oh, I only have one port of loading, port of discharge. Like I don't have codes for these because there are no codes, I guess, on the rate sheet that you gave me. Like this is inland, right? So this is your, oh, and you asked for the version, so I guess I only put 831 because that's when I guess I received it from you.
Okay. We
So
have
yeah, of an
there it is,
updated
FCL
one.
process. Yeah, I'll send you a chunker when it's getting bigger by the minute.
I can imagine, yeah. But I guess what they have in common is origin, the UN low code, right?
Mhm.
All that stuff. And then over here, so this right here is similar to the ocean rates, and but it's based on,
CBM and weight.
so these blue ones and these gray ones, what's the difference between them? I'm trying to
I
see.
think that the blue ones are from, so it's based, the quote here is broken into brackets. So we'll give him a quote. Yeah, there you go. They have an exemplar. So they're the same thing, but we just changed it based on the date. So the first bracket, if you shipped from 0 kilograms to up to 250 or 0.01 CBM up to half of CBM, the rate per kilogram is going to be 5.45 on the error sheet. And then if you ship from 251 kilograms up to 500, the rate per kilogram is going to be 525, and so on and so forth. So the higher you ship, the less it costs per kilogram, and then it's based on the date. So this rate is valid if you ship from the 1st to the 14th of June, and then so on and so forth to the right.
Oh, okay. This is the first time I see the dates. So over
Yep.
here, these have dates. I just can't see them. Oh yeah, I see them up at
And
the
there's
top.
other bottom. Yeah, the two on the bottom.
Okay, gotcha. So these are all the
Yep.
different dates. So that's where, yeah, that's where how are we gonna, so it's really just this one line item for air, that's based on date. All the other line items or charges are not based on date, right?
Nope.
They're
We try
they're
to,
kind
yeah,
of
just,
for 6 months or a year, like you said.
yeah, but just based on, and then here the IFO is inland freight at destination, and then that's also based on the weight. If you ship two from 200, I mean,
Oh,
from
right,
zero
right.
to, yeah, 250 grams, and then it changes.
Okay. If I can, yeah, I still need to do that, right? I haven't even dove into the rate sheet, how you're gonna put it into the system. But it makes sense to me that they would be like this vertical, right? So you'd have them all here and you would type them in, but some of them will go horizontal because they're going to be based on different dates
Dates.
or weights or whatever the variable is.
Yeah. Okay.
Like even each of these might have an expiration date, you're saying, right? They're
Those
only
ones,
good for 6 months or something.
yeah, dry to origin. But I mean, I think we can on the inputs that we can select. We can probably give him something that we can do manually, like just put the validation date of that rate based on the customer or whatever.
So like, because I'm trying to see if we can actually do instant quotes.
Okay, I see, I see. Yeah. Then in that case,
And the only way to do
the
it is if every single rate has a validity,
I see.
I'm thinking, based on the date of the desired date for the well, for when the cargo's ready to ship.
The ship.
So then all of these, when you're defining your rate sheet in the system, they would all, you'd have to put an expiration date on all of them or a range, depending on how you define it, just so that at a certain point, it stops becoming instant because oops, this field is flagged because it's there. We don't have a validity for this one rate. So then you just have to put it in manually, but maybe all the rest will auto-populate.
Okay, yeah, I see your point. I understand. No, it
You know
makes
what I mean?
sense. Yeah, you're right. For us, yeah, I mean we can add it. The only difference is that maybe on the so if we go like horizontal, um all the rates are gonna stay the same. The only one that might change will be the ocean freight or the air freight.
Yeah, the ocean freight or the air freight. Yeah. And then also like for air, you showed me the weights at the bottom. These right here. No, not those. These at the bottom. The inland freight at destination chargeable weight. So those are, well, it would just be a few different ones, but then still, I think you would still need to have some sort of date attached to these too, right? Because this might only be good for the end of 2025 or something like that. Plus, some of these rates
Yeah,
change yearly, right? I think you said that Adolfo and they get
yeah,
together and they come up with a lot of these base rates at the beginning of the year.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the IFO, the document fee, all that stuff. Origin handling fee, etc.
Okay. So maybe we could have, since I'm on a spreadsheet here, so like we would have this. Let me go to the top. This is the top. So you would have this, and then perhaps I'm just trying to conceptualize it real quick. Perhaps you would have the underneath it is it's going to ask you what is the date range or whatever, and you would say 1/1/25 to 1/1/26, and that's the current rate because that's what we're at right now. But later, once you let's say reach 2026, then that'll move down because you're going to put the current rate. So let's say we are already in 2026 and you had this year worth of this, then this one would just kind of be like the historicals. Like maybe they would just be, you can drop down and see all the rates from the past. But like when you're ready to change it, those will all just become historicals and you'll have the current one there. That's the way I'm visualizing each one of these being. It's like not only is it going to be a number of dollar amount, it's going to be the range, the date range that it's valid for each one of these things. And a lot of them are probably just going to be general, except for the real specific ones, which is the ocean and the air fees.
Okay, makes sense.
Those would be something like that. And you'd have all the fees, but then based on the Incoterm, only certain ones will apply.
Based on the days. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
I know, complex stuff, right? Really, oof.
Yeah, so and of course I want to fit everything in, but we're gonna have to pick and choose what's in this very first version, because I think we're gonna learn from that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm thinking how, I mean, I see this so complex. I can imagine how so many systems, how, like the airlines, MSC, how they can give you a rate based on so many factors, like if the plane is full, if it's not full, and then on the dates, and if it changes, and you see it's so simple just to get a quote for an airline ticket, but there's now until you start working on it, you see it's really complex stuff.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you're gonna have to consider the labor on your end that it's gonna take to maintain these rates. Because
True.
really, you're gonna have to pull them from, I don't know, thin air or from based on your suppliers, shippers, or
Yeah.
based on Unimex, whatever they decide the rate's gonna be for, like there's a lot of things, but I guess in my mind as a programmer, I have to say, okay, well, it has to be consistent. Like there
Hmm.
can't be data that's inconsistent. And so what does that unit of consistency look like? And to me, it's what's the name of the rate? What's the dollar amount for that rate? And when is that rate valid? And if at any point you generate a quote and the date in question on the quote is different or doesn't fall within any of the dates of each of the line items, then that line item will just not be auto-populated. It won't be an instant quote. You'll have to just fill it in yourself.
Right.
But if all of the rates for all of the line items fall within that date, that's the only time that it'll be an instant quote.
Right. I see.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
by
everything has
instant,
to be
at
crisscross.
first, at first I wouldn't say that we're going to send it instantly, automatically without you guys looking at it first, because there's going to be all the hazmat stuff that you just told me about. You're still going to have to look at the quote, but it'll at least be 80% done, and then you can just fill in the blanks after that.
And I'm thinking, I was asking you like to
Mhm.
see this the way how you marked it, because one of the challenges that we currently have is that US Bank is auditing the rates based on the rate sheet, but I think they upload it into their system. And from what I'm been learning from the conference calls when we have to follow up on the like collecting, um, they say that it doesn't, so they probably come back to us and say like, hey, this rate wasn't found on the rate sheet. And then we have to kind of explain them like, no, it is on the rate sheet. Look, if you go this and that.
Yeah.
So from what I understand is that I think they upload it somehow to their system. And then once they get to receive the invoice, they also upload it to their system. And then the system automatically starts segregating like the amounts. Okay, so what's on the document, and then it'll kind of look on the rate sheet, and if it doesn't look anything, they'll reject it. So I think because of the way I have structured the rate sheet, it's making it hard for the system to validate cross-reference
Yeah.
that. So that's why I
So
wanted to
what-
see how you have it, because you're working on it on like a system architectural way, so that information can be funneled and can be looked by this like the programming stuff,
Yeah.
like the
Look up,
IA, the
yeah.
software, the lookups and all that stuff. So I think that's something that I have to kind of propose to them, like, hey guys, I think I found a better way so you can have that rate sheet into your system, validate the information that's on the physical invoice, because eventually what they want us to do is submit the invoices via EDI. So at
Uh-huh.
the end of the day, the same, the system is
Well,
going to have to look for the system
what
information.
what if US Bank can give you the format and the structure? Don't you
Good
think
idea.
that
Yeah,
they would have that information structured
Yeah.
already? Because now I
right,
guess they're having to map it based on what you give them. They have to map it to values that are in their structure versus
right.
if we just put it in their structure from the beginning, um, and what does that structure look like? They obviously have a structure because they know what goes on an invoice and they know what the rate sheet should have. And I don't know. How can we
Good
find that
point.
out?
Yeah, how can I'm actually writing them an email. So I would ask them the rate, the subject of the email, rate structure, and then like, hey Patrick, would you be able to send me the structure of how you have the rates uploaded into your system so we can understand how the system is validating and see if we can
Match.
match them or moving forward manifest them on the format that your system has.
Yeah, a standard format that they already recognize, or maybe other companies other than Unimex have
Right.
rate sheets, and you want to see like what's the optimal structure or format, or schema is another word that they might use for how they structure it. In databases, we use the word schema.
Schema, how do you spell that? SCH.
Uh-huh.
Esquema.
SCHEMA,
Okay, perfect. Got it.
because
Thank you.
then that defines the shape of the data, like what, some data is just one item, whereas other data can be one to many, like
Yeah.
for the case of the ocean rates, because the there's one to many based on the dates. Or
Mhm.
for air, it's one to many because there's different categories of weight.
Okay,
So that's all really like well defined in a schema, and that's what I'm having to do is create that schema from scratch.
right.
But if they have one, then we can have a kind of a head start. And if
Okay,
it's eventually going to be EDI, well, yeah, then we would have to map everything anyway. So we might as well have it already in that shape so that when we had to convert that or put that into EDI, it would already be in that shape.
Yeah.
If they have an EDI, if they have the EDI, what do they call it? Spec. That's another thing. So the EDI
Like,
specification, whatever the EDI document number is, let's say it's 210 or whatever, like we were dealing with the milestones. I think those were 210.
I have that information. Well, I have some documents that I shared to the IT team. I can forward them to you as well. Let me get ready because then maybe that can give you an idea.
Okay.
Um,
So there must be, and what would you send to them via EDI? I know that's not happening now, but like,
the invoice, the physical invoice that we
okay.
have, like the information that's on the invoice, send the EDI.
So if you have an EDI spec for that invoice, that that would be maybe another thing to look at that I can look at.
I just sent that over. Let me see if you got it. Yeah, I sent it over.
We
There are
just
4 documents.
Okay, because we just started EDI. I've done, I think, all of the EDI that Unimex uses right now, which is
Oh,
Oh,
very,
okay.
really?
yeah, very few things. The very first one we worked on was for Teclas, for I think they're the Mercedes-Benz
Yeah, vendor.
Yeah, so they're still sending EDI and they receive it at the warehouse and they use it for certain things. Then the other EDI is over there in FAR. That's Gerardo, right?
Hmm?
He's over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I kind of did that one, but they also have another vendor that works on that EDI. That's for invoices.
You have prophecy, right?
Yes, in Prophecy. Um, so Prophecy generates the EDI and then the system that I put together sends the EDI to Kohler. That
Okay.
one's an 856, I think. I don't remember the number for that one. But and then there was a third one. Oh, the milestones, which we never finished. The Maersk milestones.
Yeah, somehow they just dropped that project. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
So that's how I got familiar with working with the EDI for Unimex. And so yeah, if that ever becomes the EDI for these invoices, then yeah, the first thing I always ask for is the spec. And that way I can read through it and see what data is mandatory, what data is optional, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I sent it to you. I don't know if you received it. I just
Okay.
had to like the title of the email says 310 Ocean Freight EDI specification.
Got it. I see that. Awesome. Ocean. So that's only for ocean freight.
Apparently, yeah.
Receipts and invoices. Yeah, these are kind of complex, but because they usually don't use all these fields. They take the standardized spec and then they customize it for their own needs. So they just put US Bank on it and kind of keep it all the same as the official spec, which is defined at the I don't know who makes these specs.
Yeah, it's complex stuff. I was we're trying to read them. It's really complex, confusing because they say like just to give you an example, these transactions said notes. These acknowledgements should not be acknowledged, thereby preventing an endless cycle of acknowledgement of acknowledgements. Nor shall it. I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about?
So yeah, aside from the spec, then we also ask for samples because we want to see, okay, how complicated are your actual EDIs, you know? Because even on
Yeah,
this spec, you might say, oh, well, you need all of these lines of data, but then in reality, they just ask for, you know, 5 of them. And so you can kind of simplify it that way. But yeah, we might be getting a little too complex with this, but this is very
Mm,
helpful just to see what they,
it is.
it is complex stuff, but it's good to kind of get the basic, understand how that works, and just it's really technical
yeah, I mean, there's systems
information.
already dedicated for handling all this stuff. But there's always, even if you have a custom system like the one we're creating, there's always going to be some sort of mapping that goes from what your data looks like in your system to what the EDI standard layout needs to look like. There's always going to be a mapping. And that's
I
really where
see.
mostly the programmers, in-house programmers come into play, is just mapping that data. So,
You learned this in computer science, right? Is the or
yeah,
well,
I
yeah.
mean,
What is
EDI, I
the
learned it
career?
just a few years ago with when Adolfo asked me. I think that was maybe one of the very first things I did for Unimex. He's like, "Do you know EDI?" Oh, I think that's what Kohler asked them. Do you guys do EDI? And he wanted to say yes so badly. So he
Yes.
asked me, "Do you know EDI?" I said, "I'll figure it out." And then we went from there. And it
See,
worked out. I mean, he got the business. So
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, we are EDI capable, but very, very minimally at this point.
Mhm.
So yes. Um,
And you studied computer science.
yeah, I studied computer science. So I kind of
Okay,
look at
nice.
everything from the lens of kind of knowing how data needs to be represented and, just in general, a general understanding.
Okay, yeah, different. That's how you kind of really interesting how the logic in sorting the information it's easier in vertical versus horizontal. So yeah, interesting stuff.
Well, only because dollar amounts, when you see them vertically, it kind of makes more sense because you're gonna, at the end of it, sum up the
Some
values.
right,
So if they're sideways, for me, it's harder to visualize.
some
Mhm. And even up here, like just seeing everything. But of course, I only have one. This is only one of the rows. This is just the
yeah.
hot
So in
spot.
this case, for example, like to note a different vendor, I would have to copy
They would be
like the section of field A or column A. I will have to copy it and then move it to the right to specify the amount for this vendor.
yes, and maybe you wouldn't see them all in one space. So I'm thinking you would choose the origin and the destination because that's what uniquely identifies the route or
Vendor, right? Yes.
the lane.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like in an app, you would have those things at the top, just like we have on the quote request. The Kohler is going to choose those things right in the beginning, the origin and the destination. So you on the rate sheet builder would also do that for each combination of origin and destination. You would have a rate sheet for that. You see what I'm saying?
But, but then to specify dates, you have
Would
to kind of
be,
make
yeah, it would be within one of these sheets, I think. Because even that's another variable, right? Not only the
right.
date, but what is the ports? What are the
Yeah, the
ports?
port of origins and destination, it's something that varies.
Yeah. So, yep, it is complex.
It is. What makes you and the good, I mean, I like it. It's good, gets you higher brain thinking.
Well, yeah, and it does exhaust my brain sometimes just looking at
I can imagine. I'm like,
it.
I feel
I'm
you.
burning a lot of calories just
You
thinking
are,
about
you are.
it. But I guess what it's hard for me to then try to simplify it because I look at the whole thing, but that's what
Right.
we're talking about because it's like, okay, what can we just strip away and then add later? Hopefully, that's kind of that's also a thought exercise in itself is figuring out what to start with and then what to add next and so that it's like complete at every stage or every phase is going to be complete in itself.
But yeah, but then I'm sure that once you get on, you start on the road, oh, there you go, surprise. This doesn't have to kind of go back and reconstruct or reorganize, reset.
Yeah, and then so further like the further down the line we have changes, the more difficult
Legacy
it
gets right.
becomes because it
Yeah.
affects everything up the line. And
Yeah,
all the
so I think
decisions we made in the beginning have to have minimal changes because
I
otherwise it would
see.
change the entire architecture of the
Yeah.
application. So yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, no. So yeah, let's get it right. So I think
Yeah,
let's
it's worth getting it right. It's worth having taking the time to get it right. I know
Yeah.
and
Adolfo's been
thinking
asking me more often, what's the status?
Mhm.
So so that's making me feel like I need to have a discussion with him to just let him know that
it's
we're put,
complex stuff. Yeah, I think he needs to understand the complexity of things of the
Mhm.
system so he can also because yeah, I mean it's hard. It's there's a lot of data and a lot of variables to really understand. So if we want to get it automized, I have really no clue how to really structure. I mean, I kind of do, but I think that's where I is
Yeah,
the
and that's
expert
what
on it. But
these demos, I call these demos or prototypes. You
help,
know, they're
right?
not pretty, they're just real basic because we're trying to figure out that logic first. And then we can make
Yeah,
it pretty and flow better and stuff.
I see.
So so I'm glad that you understand that because sometimes if I were to present this to someone who's expecting to see a finished product,
Mhm.
um, they would
They
say
think.
this doesn't look right. And it's like this is more of a learning tool than it is the
Mhm.
final product. It's just this is how we learn and
Okay.
how we iterate to get to the final product.
I see.
These are
Nice.
like quick little things that we can put together just so we can all learn.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I'm sure you're also learning a lot of technical stuff regarding logistics. So, and also for us, we're learning a lot of technical stuff in terms of how the magic works when you just go into Amazon and I want to buy this, I want or like I want to
Yeah.
book an airline ticket to this place. Yeah, there's
Oh,
a lot
free
of work into it.
shipping.
Yeah. That's one little piece of it, right? The shipping, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Then the pricing and then the presentation. There's so many systems within systems.
Yeah.
I used to sell items on Amazon. It was sometimes a pain to also keep all that data. So it's kind of a taste of what you guys go through, I guess, too.
Well, you have to update, so you also have to input a lot of information on the web page.
For Amazon.
Yeah,
Yes.
as a vendor.
What they did was fulfilled by Amazon because they realize, sellers, it's complex, right? Fulfilling the orders. So
Oh, I see.
So that's
Okay.
why Amazon Prime exists because me as a seller, I have merchandise here in my warehouse. I'll
Right.
ship it to Amazon's warehouse so that they can handle the logistics.
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
have
the
to,
inventory and all that stuff, right?
yes. And where to put it, like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
ship it
Okay.
to wherever they told me to ship it. Because if I had, let's say, I don't know, 1,000 units of something, they would say, okay, send 200 units to Fort Worth and send the other 400 to Kentucky. And I would just have to ship it to those destinations. And then because they had to kind of have, their
Wow.
warehouses filled at certain capacities.
Mm.
Well,
But
I'm
at that
assuming.
point, that was the hard work. And once it was there, then I just had to focus on the marketing, right? Making sure the page looked right and the price that I was offering was competitive to the other sellers because there's other sellers. Um, but then, yeah, the fulfillment was out of my hands. I didn't have to deal with it. But,
Okay.
it came at a cost. Amazon keeps like 30% of every sale.
Wow.
That's
Oh, I
why,
mean, this
yeah.
guy is a
That's why
millionaire.
30%.
Prime items are more expensive typically than non-Prime because of all the
Mm.
fees that Amazon won't keep.
Good to know.
Yeah. And heavy things, don't ever buy anything heavy on Amazon Prime because obviously, right? There's a lot of cost of shipping something heavy.
Yes.
All right.
So if you buy a refrigerator on Amazon, oh, it's way more expensive than buying it at the local
To
store.
buy or something else.
Okay.
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 But they
So,
hide all that,
mhm.
So anyway, fun stuff.
Good.
To
Información que
know.
cura. Yeah, good to know.
Yep. Well, this was a lot. Thank you so much for your time. I had
Yeah,
told
thank you, Joseph.
Adolfo that, yeah, we need more time together talking about these things so that we could really get to the bottom of what we're building here. And
Yeah,
yeah, this is a very productive meeting. I'll
indeed,
look
very
through it
constructive.
and I'll also ask ChatGPT to look at the transcript and figure it all out for us. Can you just figure this
Can you
out?
do it?
Yeah, can you do it?
Can you do it for me? Great.
It does help because we've talked about things, all the little details that I'm having to write down, and I could just say, "Hey, ChatGPT, summarize,
Yeah.
how each
Yeah.
form is supposed to look based on everything we talked about."
Okay.
It could probably do a pretty good job. So,
It is getting
Yeah.
better and better by the day. I am
yeah,
using ChatGPT also now.
yeah, for big amounts of data like this, the transcript of this meeting, it could process it and boil it down to like the most important things, and then I can go from there and make decisions based on that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Pretty interesting and
It's a great
super
time.
useful tool.
Yes,
Yeah.
for developers, to me, I feel like the AI is most useful for the developers of this day and age. Um, it eliminates a lot of the manual stuff that we had to do. I mean, there's no way an app like this could be produced in a short time frame 5 years ago.
Yep.
This would take months and months, maybe even a year or more to. I mean, I'm overcomplicating some of it because it's really just a form that you're gonna get, but
Mhm.
in general, it makes things 10 times easier,
Yeah.
if not more.
No, but I've heard that this is really complex stuff. That's something that I would remember a lot when some of the vendors of software school come and like, hey, this software, and then we're telling them, yeah, well, we're thinking of the owners are thinking of building something, and they would say like, no, it's don't even think about it. It's really complex. You're gonna be spending millions and thousands of dollars in time, and then at the end of the day, you're never gonna be finished. So yeah,
They are
it's
they are right. And so for example, I built a mobile app this summer, and now we're
mhm,
reusing it for it's for an event that we have here. So I did it in the valley over there in McAllen and stuff, and it worked
mhm,
pretty well. And so now we're going to do it here in Laredo. And but I told the person the organizer of these events, it's probably going to take 10 times the amount that we've invested in just making this app to make the app what it really needs to be.
wow,
Because as it is, like the event starts tomorrow and they're asking for changes. And I said, those changes aren't possible. Like they're, like just
yeah,
like what we're
there's
talking
no
about now,
time.
like decisions had to be made in the beginning and
Oh my
we
God,
didn't have
yeah,
all the information. And so like we
hmm,
have to do several of these events to enhance the app to where it needs to be so that if you want to offer it at the right price, a lot of upfront, you know, resources
yeah,
go into any software. And so ideally, a system like this is something that I would have to then resell to multiple companies in order for me to actually make money
profit, yeah,
off of
make
it. Yeah.
money out of it because it's so much time consuming, and then yeah, you always have to go back and then like fix it, tweak it based on the experience of the user, and then and the challenges, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I
User
see, I
feedback
see.
is the most important thing because there's
Yeah,
no
I
way I can
understand.
anticipate what the users are going to want. So you just got to put it out there and let them use it and learn from it. And so that's why most
That's why they,
software. What's
yeah,
that?
I'm sorry, that's why they roll out so many versions, right? Like so many updates.
Yeah. And they have big
Yes.
teams working on it, and then they don't make money for the first 5 years because it's all about figuring it out. And once you've figured it out, then boom, then you can see the big profits. But
I
Yeah.
see.
software, yeah, inherently has a lot of upfront cost. And I think Adolfo's willing to do that. I think that's just in most of the things I've seen, the warehouse management and stuff that they've built over the years.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's some off-the-shelf systems that can do a lot of that, but those come at a cost also, right? There's a learning curve. You have to have the staff to actually fully implement it, and that's tough.
Yeah, it's good. No, well, interesting. I mean, I think we have to keep in mind that it's the future, and then we have to either adapt or die because
Yeah.
I mean it's everywhere, like everything is being managed through an app, and then you have those like golden mine examples like for Uber and Airbnb that they didn't even change. I mean, it's the same need, like find a hotel, move from with a taxi, but they revolutionize the industry. And
Mhm.
you have some companies that are out of business, like hotels are going out of business. Some taxis here in Mexico, I know that before, like if you wanted to buy a taxi license, they were selling like around 1.5 or 2 million, and you would have like to wait. And now I know that that same license they're being sold for 100,000 pesos or 90,000 pesos. So that business, and then there were companies that had like a fleet of 200 taxis, and and they're gone. You don't see them anymore. They
Yeah,
disappeared. They broke. But it's the same
great.
need. There's
Yeah.
there's still people that the same basic need, which is getting a car to pick you from one point to that point, and that's it. But now we don't book it like old fashioned. You put your finger and hey taxi. It's so yeah. So I think it does make sense to look into this, start working on this, And then yeah, and then otherwise Unix is going to be it's going to be more difficult for them to maintain that business, and we're seeing it right now. That's one of the
Yeah,
needs and the
because
feedbacks that
because Unimex has so many things to sell, so many things to sell, and it has so many different companies, and it has so many different services and different everything, and sometimes the client doesn't even know what is Unimex offering,
Yeah.
and they're like, I didn't even know that you could offer me this and this and that, and then it just remind me the story of Nowports, that it was like, I sent the link on the chat, and this company went, like, how do you say this? Like, creció como espuma y que fue como un unicorn.
yeah, like it grew like
Oh,
wildfire, like really
yeah.
fast, and they invested it, but now there's like, so I think they really managed the way of the system, but in terms of feedback, I think like the operational side, it's really lacking because everything that it sells through a third party. And I think in the operational perspective, they haven't really managed to have good operation. They have a really good sell point, like the platform, but I know that they're struggling also, like on a day-to-day business.
Yeah, and and well, it's something, uh innovate or die. You just need to go with the at the speed of the technology and merge with it and simplify your, I don't know, your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep up for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
But
But
well, thank you all. I'm gonna have to go. I've started realizing I had some things to do at
yeah,
5 that I missed. So but thank you guys. I think this was really worth the time to discuss all of this. Both of you,
yeah,
because I know both of you have different points of view,
yeah,
Like
and see different parts of it. So thank you so much for both joining.
yeah.
on the
Thank you,
contrary,
Joseph.
Okay,
likewise, thanks for the
so
information.
we'll be in touch. I'm probably gonna email everybody just to say where we're at and stuff like that so that we can move forward. But for now we're okay. Thank you so
Perfect.
much.
Sweet. On
Thank
the
you.
contrary,
All
have a
right,
good
talk
afternoon,
soon.
Joseph.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.